Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Daniele, hello.
Hello.
I'm at home again.
You're at home. That's right. You said you were at home today. How you doing?
I'm like about to fall
You
asleep.
must
I've
be
been
so
up since
tired.
so tired.
How'd you go this morning?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just really tired now and been very unproductive ever since I got home.
Oh,
So
well, you're here, so that's a
I
thing. Did you
am.
log in on Twitch? Is that you on Twitch?
No, but
I've
I
got
can.
I've got two people watching, and I'm always intrigued when there are people in because I feel like you don't have to. By the way, it's just I just like sometimes there's just nothing happening. So yeah, I've got a request to analyze a song that is quite complicated. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to that.
Do you have three viewers now?
I'm hanging out at 2 and I've just logged in on my phone. Shouldn't
Okay.
really matter, you know what I mean? But sometimes it does. I'm gonna wait for that number to tick over. In order for me to get to the next level, I need to get an average of 3 viewers. So, oh, you've messaged. That's great. Hello. And then that'll show up on the chat. Yay! Yay!
Also, next time I see you, I've got this book for you. I think you would like it.
Cool. Is that the one you mentioned yesterday or a different one?
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Awesome.
I think that it should be read by more people.
All right.
I'll bring it next time.
I'll be that person. Why not? No, I'm still at 2. That's weird.
Oh.
Doesn't really make sense half the time. Oh, so I got started on the vocal diaries, by the way.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I did not have time after I got home last night, clearly.
To what? Were you meant to follow me up or something?
No, just like get all the documents set up. I was
Oh,
gonna
right.
just put them there so people could start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did a cool thing where, um, oh, you can see my screen, can't you?
I can.
Yeah. So, oh, whoops. Yeah, so I just add the song list. That's annoying that it does that. There we go. and then only two songs, but that's all right. It's the start.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's nice to have that. And then the the cell is effectively a page, and then within the page I can
Ah,
add
I
information.
see. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And then hopefully I've asked them to check, but we'll see. It might take them a while to get back to me.
That's
I just
great.
I need to see what they see.
Yeah, no, I was able to see everything on the artist page
That's good. Yeah, you have
and
special
all of that.
privileges.
Oh,
Um,
right. Okay, got it.
so, although the artist page is made public, so it should be able to be accessible, but
Yeah.
like the backing vocalist page, it links back to this to the page.
Yeah.
Um, so as I populate that information, the backing vocalist can see it.
I love it. It's so organized.
It's
It's
pretty cool,
perfect.
hey? Yeah, I'm just trying to minimize double
Great.
handling,
This is
so
right up my alley.
I love it. And then like there's information here that's only relevant to me, but at least I think it's still important because they can still access the YouTube link and like see what I'm thinking, which can be quite important. So yeah, I just uploaded the sheet music today, and then just did a bit of a breakdown.
That
Yeah,
is great.
pretty cool, hey. And then I'm hoping that I've just messaged Brad and Brendan to update the artist list as the artists are properly confirmed.
Hmm. Do we
I,
have anyone confirmed yet? Do you know?
I don't think so. I messaged Mark, who was one of the contenders, and he. Oh, you were there. You heard his
I
voicemail.
was.
And yeah, he's not free. So, um, and then I think I told you, but I added a Who column to the activity log,
Mhm.
um, so we can see who added a thing.
Is there a
Guys,
way of like moving the columns like so they're like not as big?
like
Like the note section is like quite long, so you have to like
just thinner,
scroll
yeah.
across a bit.
Probably without wrapping. I don't know if you can actually change the wrap.
Oh, that's fine.
Um,
Just so it's sort of like easier to see on the page rather than having to like go all the way
yes.
across.
Yeah. Yeah, look, there's still like some things that I'm like I try to paste text into Notion and it formats it really weirdly. So it's not like the best document editor.
Oh
it's got
well.
it's got things to improve upon. Um all right, well, I'm just going to we've got a couple of minutes. May as well hang out until then. Shut this
Meant to be
down.
like, oh, I've got so much work to do.
Do you?
Yes, I've got
Oh,
so
and you're
much.
probably tired, which makes it even harder to
Yeah, yeah, even harder to concentrate. But
yeah.
mm.
I've woken up really weird today. Just like
Oh, really? Why?
just like it's just a bit of head sore and
Oh,
sinusy sort of stuff. I don't know, just a bit just tired. Um, so I just need to take it easy, but I can feel myself being like, "Don't take it easy. You got a million things to do." So, which is me in a nutshell. It's probably all of us, to be honest.
yeah.
I think it's usually the personnel at BU is very hyper driven. But it's just so funny. You go away for the weekend and you can feel it kind of waning as the days progress and as you get back into your regular schedule. So, but yeah, that's what I thought this morning. I'll just do my best to update the Notion, and I managed to get some band charts for one of the songs, so that's a nice kind of win when that happens. It's like that's tick, and then the other song they're doing is a cappella, but I might arrange it for band.
Sounds good.
Yes, yes. All right. I'm procrastinating because I think this song is far too complicated for me to analyze. But we're just going to take it nice and easy and slow. And prime opportunity for you to ask questions. For a song that is probably a little bit more advanced than some of the stuff we've been looking at. All right. Well, first things first. It's probably important to find what key we're in. In this context, we are in the wonderful key, the magical key, the golden key. I find it quite golden. Key of A flat, A flat. So and the way to work that out for any flat key is to get the second last flat in the list, second from the right, and that is your key. So that's an A flat. Bam, done. Our dynamics, pianissimo, so super soft, and our time signature is common time, which is also known as 4/4. So it's going to be 4 beats per bar, and we can see that. Crotchet, 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 crotchet. Here we have 2 voicings. This is going to be throughout the whole piece. We call them voices, so as in like individual melodies, but merged into a piano accompaniment. So a piece like this would actually have been compressed or condensed into this piano conductor score. Oh, sorry, the piano score. It's not necessarily piano conductor score. In theatre, it generally is. But this would be a piano vocal score. And I would expect or suspect that some of these inner voicings are just different orchestral instruments. For example, this could be like strings, and like a flute or clarinet on top. Although it could all be strings. It's a bit unfortunate because I don't really know unless I was to get the actual score. These beams indicate tremolo in this context, which is an altering between 2 notes. So with the strings can play bow tremolo or finger tremolo. I'm probably going to botch the explanation of this, but I'm sure you know what they are, Wingy. But one can be actually done via the fingers or via the bow. I feel like I'm getting that wrong, but that's okay. We'll just move on from that. Pretend like that never happened. And then, of course, there's the idea of like, are we going to just do the one note? With piano, it's quite hard. So generally with a piano conductor score or piano vocal score, they split up the note into an octave because it's much easier to tremolo an octave than it is the same note, because we want that feel, rather as opposed to, but when it's split into octaves, we can get the. Of course, there's probably it's probably split in the double bass, for example, an octave apart. So they might be playing from one string to another string to create that bowed tremolo. Okay. So I'm going to play a little bit of it just to kind of get into the world. Already I'm seeing lots of flats, which kind of indicate some sort of modal interchange, sort of might imply that we're borrowing from different keys. We're not necessarily in the sort of pure key of A flat. Second to that, I can see on first glance, this first chord is a D flat major in second inversion. So there's my D flat, and then I've got the A flat in the bass. So if I look at this a little more clearly in a horizontal plane, the A flat is throughout those 3 chordal movements. And I might even say that the A flat is pedaling those 3 motions. And for something to pedal, it's a recurring idea or a recurring notion, or generally a recurring pitch, and most commonly, but not always, a recurring lower pitch. So every other pitch above that is reference to that lower pitch. It kind of creates the vibe or the feeling for that particular piece. So we might not be able to directly perceive the D flat chord in the beginning, but we get this sensation of the D flat mixed with that low tremolo A flat, and after a few moments we start to generate a bit of a picture of those few things. And of course, I believe I've been requested to analyze the last chord of the piece, but we're going to start from the beginning and see what happens. Cominciando molto moderato. Look. Some form of communication related word. Daniele, you should know, but you don't. What will Google say? What will Google say? D flat, this A flat 7, which should function as a dominant and should lead us back to D flat, but then moves to this F flat chord. And so notice I'm saying F flat, not E in this context, because it's functioning like a flattened 6, which is still related to the key rather than an E major. And of course, enharmonically, they are the same thing, E and F flat, but on a stringed instrument, or on a more acoustic instrument, generally string instrument, the tuning can be quite different. So we won't get too much into that. But we can see that we're prolonging our movement. So to prolong the movement is to use different chords to move into a different direction before we move to a specific chord. What I see here is just this prolonging of movement heading to our E flat chord. And that's our E flat 7. Okay, so whenever we have a dominant chord, it's creating some form of comma or pause, or not a resolution. Okay, it's creating some sort of tension. Okay, it's creating tension. So if we want to start to look at this piece between tonic chords and dominant chords, those 1 and 5 chords, we've got the 5 chord here in the key of A flat. We've got the 4 chord here. We've got a 1 chord, but it's a 7. And then we've got a flattened 6. Sometimes that's not really the way to do it, but that's right. We're not doing full figured bass analysis, so this is not super technical. So we've got a 1, so we've got a 4, sorry, we're starting on 4. Dominant 1. Dominant 1, you want to hear it move back to... I'm adding a D flat. That shouldn't be there. So this beautiful kind of parallel motion, right? So from the second chord of the first bar, so the G flat and the D flat, and then it's a tone parallel down. So that's an idea, that's an effect, rather than a chordal movement. We're not sort of analyzing the harmony too much. We're getting the effect of a descending parallel line, not in the key. It's actually moving, planing, I believe it's called. We're planing, we're moving a tone to the right, or however you want to look at it, adjacent to the key. Which creates some sort of dissonance and some dissension, some sort of, we're unsure, we're unclear, I don't know how I feel about it right now. And that dissension from the eventually moves us down to the E flat 7. And then we move on. It's too early for this. I think we've done a modulation. So we've moved from E flat we've moved to the same idea so far. I could be wrong if I keep looking. The same idea, but instead of in D flat, we're in C flat. So it's actually a tone down. So you could look at this in the key of A flat, the first bar in the key of A flat, and then the next in the key of G flat. So we've started with D flat, A flat 7, and then the sort of flat 6 business to dominant 5. And now we're at a C flat in first inversion, G flat 7. Where do we have here? Some sort of D major chord. That's fun. And then we're moving to, it's very interesting. So A flat land. Already that feels very far away. So D major, this sort of A7 business. So again, D major, tonic chord to A7, 5 chord, 5A major to F major, which is again some sort of parallel movement. So instead of D to A wanting to move to D, we move to F major, which is a major third down. Or I would look at it as a relationship to our D major chord, but just a minor third up. So we went D to A, and now I'm moving to F to C. So I went D major, 1, 5, and then I'll go 1, 5. There's a C7 chord in that third beat of the fifth measure, sorry. So that C7 chord is a suspended chord. In relationship to the A chord we just played. So it goes 4, 3. That's the scale degree 4 in the key of A, moving to the scale degree 3. And then in the next key, scale degree 4 of C, moving to scale degree 3. So we would say that, generally speaking, it moves from a dominant chord to a tonic chord rather than a tonic chord to a dominant chord. So this is interesting. In bar 4, we go from D major. So we're in the key of D now. A7. This fourth degree creates dissonance. Just a little bit of dissonance, a little bit of movement. The fact that it's on a strong beat also prolongs the melody rather than playing a chordal tone on beat 3. And then we move to F major. With this chromatic, and it's just a little idea, that's just a little ornament. Just a little ornament just to make things a little bit more spicy. What do we got? So no. So we've got this C7 chord tied over, and then they've been cheeky and changed the E natural to an F flat, which is like unnecessary, I believe anyway. That chord is tied over and then resolves down to an E flat. So we're going D major, A7, F major, C7. This C7 carries over, but then the left hand plays an E flat 7 sort of idea. There's minus 7. And then we're kind of into the piece. And then we can see that the tremolo is indicated in the accompaniment here. This is quite hard to play, this tremolo, whilst doing other business. So what do we got? So this is a very similar idea. So we've got a 1 chord, because this is an A flat. So we've had 2 bars of dominant, because we move from the 2 bars before mild and softly. It's still a little bit unclear, but we get this flattened 9 business carried over from the C7, which I don't think is an intentional flattened 9. I think it's just passed over from the C7. So just checking my chat, see if ever anyone's getting a wild time from this conversation. Resolve. Still have that C7. Still have that D flat, dominant 7. Then we resolve. So this is A flat. A flat in second inversion. It's a really sweet chord, very sweet. And then we've got our. I would say that's more or less. It's confusing. It kind of looks like a D flat, but I think it's more functioning like an E flat, like a dominant. No, I take that back. I reckon it's like a 4 chord of some variety. Kind of like a 4 chord, like a 6, like a 4/6, if you will. Because what confuses the matter is the B flat in the left hand. But I would kind of just look at that as, because it's tremolo, it's just sort of this business. So I'd sort of look at it. I I go back on that. I still think it's some form of dominant. Just that D flat over the E flat is very much like a classic kind of like pop Motown dominant. I shouldn't say that in relation to this music. It's probably sacrilege or something. So A flat, this E flat 7 suspended. Okay, so it's a suspended chord because that A flat creates a suspension. The 4 chord, when we have a chord tone that's the 4th, that's suspending or prolonging the resolution of the chord. Then the 4 moves down to the 3, softly. Then this moving line. Then we've got that C flat business, very similar to what we had in the beginning. Yeah. So if it was to say that's an A flat, then we could say that the next one is. The next one is in the key of, so it's A flat, 4th down. So we're back into the, we're sort of in this weird, I shouldn't say weird, but it's E flat mixolydian. Because the E flat is still quite prominent, but we're using elements of the, oh boy. We're using elements of A flat major. There's that B flat. What do we have next? So again, that's a similar idea, yeah. That's a C flat chord, sort of an E business, and then a D major, and then a C sharp, and then sort of it kind of occurs again. Ah, no, that's wrong. Sorry, it just shifts up a bit. Take the annotation off. What do we got here? A lot going on here. And if I had a bit more time and preparation, I'd probably have a bit more to say. But going to that second measure, that's A flat in first inversion. The sort of B flat 2 chord, it's a predominant chord or subdominant chord. It's not really pushing us in one direction. It's not quite a home base yet, so it's this sort of in between vague area of harmonic movement. Back into that G flat. So lots of parallel movement. It's kind of like whoosh, sort of moving. There's no sense of like home base. It's sort of, and it's not even like proper, like we're not sort of cleanly modulating either. It's just parallel motion. It's like this idea from this key and then an idea from a key a third away. So it's G flat to F, and just previously we've had C to B flat. What is happening here? Wow. Some form of diminished. Ignore that. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. Just FYI, Piumoso is a little bit faster. Okay, really nice to add that into a piece of music if you're unsure how to speed the music along or tell the accompaniments to be a little quicker. And then hello TikTok. And then Dolce is sweet. So we're moving into some sort of sweet but moving passage. That's wrong. FYI, when we're working out the sharp keys, we take the last remaining sharp in the order of keys, and we lift that up, we raise that up by a semitone. So in this context, it's an A sharp, and we raise that by a semitone. We're in the key of B, and you know, beautifully composed. Like we're not in a root B major boring time. Okay, it's inverted, so it's in second inversion. So we can see, I might just simplify a little bit, because we can see that the melody is here in B major, and then the vocals goes don't see you not, boom, see you not. Yeah, I'm sure it's much more interesting in actual German native language of the piece, or however you say. So 1, 5, F sharp 7, great. D major, E minor, they're all related. So G major to some sort of A minor business. Man, there's too much going on right now. Oh Lord. What have I gotten myself into? What have I gotten myself into? Pausing. Under construction. Brain is under construction. There's a lot of motion. Lots of motion. Motion. Yeah. Obviously, I don't really have much to say at this point. Let's just look at the last 8 bars. One important thing to note is this minor 4 chord. It's a really cool progression if you're bored. If you're like, I don't know what to do, I want to make my music more interesting. Go for a 1 chord. And then move to the 4 chord, but in a minor. It's very dramatic. All whilst pedaling the tonic. So B, E minor over B, B. What do we got here? So go the melody. That's nice. So rather than immediately moving, we've got an E minor chord over the B, and rather than moving straight to the B on the beat, we actually prolong and delay the chord tone of the chord that we're playing by playing an A sharp instead of the B on the strong beat. That just makes things a little bit more interesting. So this is cool. So the E minor chord is generally pulled from this scale, the E Dorian scale, which is related to D major. So it's the second degree of D major. Shao. What does that mean? It means that the A sharp is not really involved, but we create this beautiful dissonance by going da dee, which I think is in some Lord of the Rings as well. And then we got this C sharp on the 4th beat. Da dee, da dee, which is kind of sweet. And then we've got what's happening here. All right, we're still a bit more in the B major land, but again, we're prolonging melody, lots of prolonging melody by putting the C sharp, which is the 2 of the B chord, on the strong beat. And then we've got this lovely flat 5 chord. While still playing the G sharp here, which implies like a flat 5/6 chord. Oh, that's interesting. I would say that's like a dominant of sorts. Like it's kind of acting like a B dominant. What do we got? So G sharp, D sharp, B. I think this is the chord that Miffy was asking about. There's just no A there, except on beat 4. Which I think is just more of a passing note rather than an actual proper chord. Sorry, note in the chord itself. Attention to the melody actually affecting the chord. I think the chord is just sort of purely this B flat 5, which leads nicely to so B, this B flat 5, E minor, and B. Lots of lush, 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 lush. Probably harp movement, strings sustaining, everyone's, I'm going to say happy, but I don't think that's the case. Although we're ending on a major tone, so that's interesting. And then triple B, super soft. Super soft. That's the technical translation. So it's slowly getting, morendo means deathly. It's like something to do with death. So some sort of tension arising there. And poco marcato, marcato is just another form of accent, so I would say it's just a little bit accented. And then we've got a crescendo through that bar, then it gets softer, and then we've also got the crescendo diminuendo. So it's kind of goes ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. If I knew more about the song, I'd be able to actually attest to like the relevance of this ebbing and flowing. But I think what interests me most is analyzing songs with someone who actually knows the piece, so I can look at it in a very neutral way and see if the actual music is justifying the the actual intentions. I'm just going to play the top of the page because I'm interested in this. Lots of B minor. What do we got? And the left hand. So this B sus business, which feels a bit more dominant in a way. Feels like more of a the 5 pedaling on it on a 1, which is pretty cool. And then back to the 1. All right, I feel like I've talked nonsense for the past half hour. Hopefully you enjoyed, especially if you're on the Twitch world. If you're hanging about, maybe it's Wengy on Twitch and myself, just adding, boosting those numbers. And if you've learnt something, great. If I've just spoken nonsense for the past 30 minutes, wonderful. If you'd like me to analyze the song, let me know. Shoot me a message. If there's anything you'd like me to extend upon in future episodes, let me know. I don't have much else to say, but I hope you're well and healthy and wonderful, and I'm gonna stop the stream. And that's what I'm gonna do, cause I have a doctor's appointment in 15 minutes. Soul, thank you. Tuning in on the Twitch. That's great. So trendy. Hope you got something out of that. I need to stop saying that. You get what you get.